Welcome back to The Pod Has Spoken. I am one of the co-hosts. I once said host, and then my other co-host didn't like that. So now I am also a co-host. We've both been relegated to co-hosts instead of being hosts. So every time I'm out in the streets and they're like, what do you do for a living? And I'm like, I co-host a podcast. And they're like, oh, well, when will you become the host? I was like, probably never. I'm here with the other co-host. There's two of us, and two of us combined make up one host, I think. Is that how it works, Riley?
I don't know. I haven't thought about the math that hard.
A co-host, I think by definition, needs another co-host to combine together to make a host, a full host.
You can't be a co-host on your own. Makes no sense.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're right.
I feel like you're a co-host on like 4 different podcasts, though. How many do you have?
3, 4. I don't know, Neleh. It's always different. We are here with America's Sweetheart from season 3? 4. I knew it was one of those, Neleh. I'm so sorry. I should have done some research.
Offended, but I'm going to let it go just for today.
I should have done some research, but I didn't. I just assumed it was 3 without even looking.
It's okay.
Neleh, Dennis, fellow Utah, season 3, so old school, like the very first.
Season 4.
Oh my.
This is why you're not host.
Dude, I got up at 3 a.m. to text Neleh to make sure that she had the link to the episode today. So cut me a little slack. Okay. Episode 4, season 4, still old school, the very first era.
Yep.
How much have things changed?
In the game?
Yeah.
Oh
from
my
watching
gosh.
it.
It's so crazy. Like, it's actually so hard to go back and watch it with my kids now because everything is like slow motion, just like the music and the way people talk and just like how much time they, really spent on like the survival aspect. And I feel like the game is just sped up so much since then. So
would you be able to keep up if they threw you in this new thing?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm old school Tyson, but I'm only like 45.
I know.
45.
It's not defined by age, but there is like the feel of the old school game was definitely different than it is now. Would you be able to like go on with, how old's your oldest child?
He is 19.
Okay. It's blood versus water, you and your child, his dream to win Survivor.
Yeah.
You got to stab him in the back to get a little further yourself. You doing that?
I do it.
Okay, I think you're ready.
There we go.
It'd be like your wife and you. Like you had to let her go and you ended up winning it. So like,
no, they voted her out,
when it comes to Survivor, like you just go for what you got to do.
That's right. That's right.
Later.
You hear that, Matt Van Wagenen and Jeff Probst? Neleh would stab her own son in the back.
I'm telling you, it has been, I mean, as you know, I missed $1 million by one vote.
Yes.
In 25 years. And like every day since, I have thought about what I would need to do to win it this time. So like, I'm definitely not old school player anymore. I feel like I still have like old school values, right? Like people.
What are those old school values?
Yeah. What are they?
Yeah.
I mean, I still value loyalty. Mm-hmm. I still think that there's like a big place for that in the game. But then I think you also have to be, ready to just not be super married to people on the game, right? Like if, instance comes up, you got to just do it. And I don't feel like, I feel like back in my season, a lot of people took that so personal. Like that's why I didn't win the $1 million on my season, because the people that I was super close to, like they got their feelings hurt, right? And
I thought that you didn't win because everybody didn't think that you were as nice as you were. They were like, she's too nice and we don't know if it's real.
I feel like part of it was because I was the youngest player at the time to have ever played. So I think that was hard.
Were you 22?
I was 21.
21.
Yeah. And so the other reason I think I didn't win is because I didn't really like know enough about the show. Like I'd never seen it before I got on. And so I didn't really like own my game as much as I should have. So like, I just didn't really understand how it worked. Like, I just felt like, oh, I need to be nice to everybody. I don't want to hurt people's feelings. So at the final tribal council, like, it is so cringy. I cannot go back and watch it because I'm like, that is not like, why didn't I just say like what I actually felt inside? So that's like definitely one of my biggest regrets, is because I know I could have won had I just actually said what I was feeling rather than like being the sweetheart and just trying to make everybody feel good.
All right. Well, that is a different podcast for a different day, but we are going to talk about it a little bit here.
Okay.
Because I've often said, like, the emotional and mental toll Survivor takes on one's brain is lifelong. Like, you have thought about that over and over, probably going throughout your daily life, things trigger memories from Survivor. And then all of a sudden you're back in that, if only I would have mentality.
Yeah. And I'd have to say, like, I don't really think about it that often. Like, when I didn't win the million, I was 21
said every day.
at the time. Well, I mean, I think about every day, like, well, I guess I shouldn't say every day. It's not every day.
Okay.
But like when things come up or like, you know, you want to buy this or you want to get that, it's like, oh, you know, that's when it's like triggered. Like, man, if I could have just done that. But it's not like, I'm not one of those players that like, I don't have regrets about how I played the game. I just know how I could have won it. Right. But like, yeah. So that's pretty much it.
Okay. Well, then let me ask you this other question.
Yeah.
You've probably already asked yourself this. Winning $1 million as a 22-year-old, would that have been good for you? Would you have been able to buy the thing you wanted at 44 now?
So I have always been like really, I'd say like great with my money. Like, I mean, even 100,000 at 21 was like a lot of money, right? So I remember before I went on the show, I'm like, if I win, you know, any money, I'm going to go buy this certain chair that was at the mall. So I was working as a makeup artist at the mall, and I'd go down and I'd sit in this chair. And so I'm like, if I get on Survivor and I win any money, I'm going to come and like buy this chair. So I bought that chair, and then I bought like a camcorder, and then I've just like saved the rest. So we, you know, put that money down on our first house when we moved to Oregon. So like, I have no doubt that I would have done good things with that for sure.
Yeah, you got in the house game early, man. Yeah. And then you just been climbing your way up, trading house for house for house. That's how you do it. People don't know. Nobody ever told me that. I just, all of a sudden it clicked. You got to get a house. For you young kids out there, get a house as soon as you can afford a house, because that's how you get in the house game and then trade up and keep trading up throughout your life, and then trade down at the very end so you can retire.
So smart.
I don't know if it is. I think that's how everybody had figured it out. And I just literally just recently, like within the last handful of years.
It's called the property ladder. They have a name for this.
Nobody taught me about the property ladder. Where is the property ladder in textbooks? Is it there?
It's not in I mean, you know, what we're teaching in textbooks, I don't think it's there. But there's definitely books on this.
Yeah. Well, I wish someone had told me. But I'm going to be okay. Don't worry about me.
We need a new pod.
I mean, you won the million, Tyson. So I don't know. Have you done good with that money?
I have.
You have a house?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. On my second.
You're on the ladder.
I'm on the ladder. I'm on the second rung of the ladder.
And you're in Hawaii. I think you're doing just fine.
And I'm in Hawaii. Yeah, we're doing fine. But, I mean, I should have bought a house 10 years earlier. So that's my main regret. That's what I think about every day.
Every day.
Episode 3 was crazy.
It was crazy.
I don't even know where to start. Where do you want to start? What was the most absurd?
I mean, we could probably spend the entire hour on tribal council alone.
Yeah.
That would like, I'm like actually sweating just like talking about it. Like just thinking about it. Like my armpits, I was just like, I'm sweating. Like this is stressing me out. And it's like so good all at the same time. But I mean, do you want to start at tribal council or should we start from the beginning? Because I think there were some other beautiful moments. Yeah,
there were some beautiful moments. We will get to the tribal council and we will spend very little time on the rest of it here. But I want to start off, let's do the juxtaposition of David seemingly having it all. 4 nipples, muscles, good looks. He's been canoeing and paddleboarding before, which is impressive to a lot of people. But he lives in a trailer in his dad's front yard. Mm-hmm. He wants to start a family. And there's the juxtaposition between Joe, the perfect dad. And I don't know if everybody caught that, but it was like, Joe is who David wants to be, supposedly. We don't know until he gets there. Sometimes you have kids and you're like, I love my kids. I am very happy. But there are people who are like, maybe parenthood was the bigger bite than I was ready to chew. So how did you feel about that, Neleh? Did that endear you to David?
David in the beginning was like super cocky. Like I just wasn't sure if I liked him. And I was like, is this the game that he's playing? Or is he really just like not aware of himself, right? Because I do feel like sometimes players get out there and like the way they come across on TV, I'm like, is that really who they are? Or are they like playing this up, you know? And I think a lot of times on Survivor, it takes you kind of going back after your season to watch yourself and be like, oh my gosh, like I'm actually coming across so arrogant, or I'm coming across, you know, whatever it is. And I wondered if that was the case with David, but I do really think that he like feels really great about himself in that aspect. But I think that this episode kind of showed us more of that like vulnerable side of him.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually like made me like him more because, you know, anytime somebody's vulnerable and sharing just like more about themselves, or maybe they're like deeper inner hurt, like I do feel more drawn to those guys, right? And so, but then
Like
there's
you can
also another
fix them.
part. What was that?
Like you can fix them.
Yes. So, like I just want to get out there and be like, David, like you don't have to live in a trailer in your
Get on the
dad's
house
yard.
ladder. Get on the real estate. What is it called,
Exactly,
Riley?
right?
Property ladder.
Property ladder.
Property ladder.
Yeah, and I'm like, you're 38 years old. You know, your girlfriend's 32. You guys want 4 kids. Like, I'm not saying you have to be like a millionaire to have kids, but like your first step is you can rent an apartment.
Mhm.
Or like, you got to find another job. Like, if this is actually what you want to do, like, why are you? I just feel like, I don't know. To me, I don't understand like why you're so held back over that, right? Like, if this is like your true life's ambition, why are you living in a trailer in your dad's front yard? Like, I get, you know, there's money involved in that, but if that's what you want to do, like, I don't get the, you know, being stuck. Like, maybe that's my old school mentality or something, but I'm like, you got to just do what you got to do to get it. Right. And he's on Survivor. So, I mean, hopefully it works out good for him and he can get some money. But when it comes to family, I'm like, I would do anything to like get that, you know?
Yeah. I need, David, I know you're listening to this. I need you to give us a tour of the trailer. Like,
I was
post a
thinking
video
yeah.
for us, please.
I was thinking that same thing.
Because maybe it's probably really nice. Maybe it's super clean. It's like you don't need like tiny houses are a thing now, you know. But I think a lot of people ask like, why? How do you get on Survivor? And being vulnerable like this is how you get on.
Yeah.
Like I'm certain he told this story in casting, and they were like, "Oh, this big, strong, muscly Superman guy is like very insecure about his financial situation."
Yeah.
That's and he's willing to open up and talk about it. So, for you fans that want to get on the show, this is the secret. And it doesn't have to be, it can be anything, but it has to be vulnerable and it has to be honest and it has to be real. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of in the same boat. I don't think I was ever insecure about my financial situation, but like I lived off and on with my parents till I was in my 30s. Like when I applied for Survivor the first time at 28, they asked like how much money I'd made the year before. And I looked back at my taxes and it was under $10,000. And all of that was probably spent at Bombay House. Because I just literally earned money to go out to dinner with my friends at Bombay House. And that was it. So, yeah, but I don't, yeah. So I get it. And then we go to Joe, who is like the perfect dad.
Mm-hmm.
Is that ever going to break, or will he be the perfect dad? Are we going to get like, are they setting us up for him to like really do something evil?
Well, once Eva goes, maybe he'll be on a revenge tour.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think so. I think Joe is just like good to his core. Like I really don't see that guy breaking.
I think they
That's
painted
what
him into the
Eva
corner.
Getting the
Eva-
blind side of Eva that I think might happen will break him and turn him into the Joker, and he'll just
Think so?
go rogue.
I think
This is what I'm hoping for. I'm kind of like wishing it out into existence.
Listen, you come out there, you want to be on Survivor. Joe seems like an amazing guy, like for real. But your goal when you go out on Survivor is like, stab my son in the back to get one step further. Like that's the type of mentality you kind of have put yourself in. But then Eva goes up to him immediately. So now he has to lock in. He's like, I can't. There's no way I can betray Eva. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden now he's like the father of the tribe. And now you get painted into this like heroic position where like you're like, every move I make has to be heroic. And I really hope we see a shift where he's like, I'm out here to collect some bodies. Like
Yeah.
I am murdering people. Like I need that from Joe. And you think Eva getting blindsided by the rest of the group will be that?
Yeah, he's going to be like, I have to destroy all these people now.
I certainly hope so. Neleh, do you think that we can see a switch turn on Joe where he's just going to flip on a dime?
I think that Joe is going to play a really good game. Like, I think he's going to step up when he needs to and stab people in the back and blindside people. But I still think he's going to do it with his charm. Like, I don't think he's going to, be walking away like a Say, right? Like, he's just going to have that trust. And so when it happens, I think people are going to be respectful of it. They're not going to be, thinking that he's a dirtbag for it.
Yeah, I agree. But I think you say he's playing a very good game. Like he is meshing well. But if I'm on his tribe, if I'm anybody on his tribe, if I'm one of the California girls, I'm already thinking Joe is a problem at the end. When do I take out Joe? I'm already planning his demise.
Yeah.
I'm looking around. I'm like, everybody likes Joe more than me. He's got to go. Like when, I don't know. Like I can work with him, but the second I can't, he's gone. Like no second thoughts.
He's the golden boy of this season for sure.
Yeah.
And then he's building the fire. Like he's really good at just, making everybody love him. So
Boosting
he's got to be
morale.
careful. Yeah.
Yeah. I think so. Let's go to the disaster tribe. Neleh, do you think these disaster tribes are built on purpose every season in the new era? Is the production is this just like there's a couple reasons. Makes good TV, hilarious that one tribe keeps going back. It's just like so funny. But also from the ashes of the disaster tribe, heroes always emerge. And if you start a hero, nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
Like if you're a day one hero, like if Joe's a hero now and then he wins the game at the end and he's like, I was a hero the whole time. Everybody's like, cool. There was no twist, no turns, no reveal, nothing the whole season. But if you rise from the ashes of the disaster tribe and make a deep run, you're an automatic hero. Is this all by design?
I mean, I don't know how they could actually just orchestrate that to happen other than like the psych test, right? Like you know that you're putting someone like a Say and a Mary together, and then you're putting somebody like a Justin who literally like, I felt like this whole episode and all the episodes, I'm trying to kick him like, Justin, like give us something like, and I feel like Justin probably has that story that we were talking about that he like gave to producers, but like we never got to see that unfold. Right. So I'm just like thinking to myself, like, I know you've got something in you, but I can't even like, anyways, we'll talk about the rest later, but yeah.
We did, because we've said this before that like, oh, maybe they do a disaster tribe, but then this season we had this tribe pegged preseason as like, hey, they're looking a little weak. They're going to have some trouble
muscle
in the challenges. They don't have as much muscle. They probably should have swapped one or two of these contestants from the other tribes to make them more even.
And I think they're meeting them in person again. I think they've gone back to in-person casting. They're flying them out and having in-person interviews. So they're really seeing
they get a real
now.
look at them. Yeah.
Yeah. Because on Zoom, it's like, who knows what's a filter or not. But now they're seeing them in real. So I think,
So you think that they could peg out a disaster tribe like that?
Easily, every time.
They just know how it's going to happen.
Yeah. You get a couple people who really want to have things their way all the time, or somebody who is very against being bossed around at all. Yeah. And then you get the weakest of the weak physically on there, and that's just a full disaster.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's just like and then once the disaster ball starts rolling, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Like I was like, if they had never gone to tribal, Mary and Say probably would just be like fine with each other. They wouldn't be at each other's throats completely, and everything like going to tribal once or twice, that really brings out everyone's like true character.
Yeah.
As they're scrambling for their lives. So yeah, what is that tribe's name again, Riley?
Vulu.
Oh yeah.
Or
Vulu.
Vula.
The Vula tribe. We get so much good content from them this week. Like we get Mary coming back, be like, I'm on the bottom. I'm still on the bottom. Now at least I know I'm on the bottom. And then Say is pissed that the guys made her flush her idol. And I mean, there's so much. Like, did Cedric make the right decision in keeping her, Neleh? In keeping Say?
Oh, for sure.
You think so?
Had he not done that, I would have been so freaking disappointed. Like, he had to do that.
Yeah, but
why?
He voted for Say. Yeah, why? Why would he? Why did he have to do that?
Like, you could see Frederick like wanting to keep his alliance, right, with Justin, because like they had talked about it, and even after that vote, like he still was loyal to him. And then it took like, I was really proud of Say for stepping in first of all and being like, "Hey, he didn't even tell you, about the idol." And so I was really proud that he was like able to turn that moment around, because I think had he kept Justin, I would have actually lost a lot of respect for him in the game.
You would have?
Yeah.
And you would have tweeted at him?
Yeah. Exactly. So like for me, it was the right move, because the thing is like Say's kind of a wild card, right? But like you can trust someone like Say because she wears her heart on her, on her sleeve. And like you always know where those people are at. And so even though sometimes like in the game, those people are like hard to hang out with and like want to be around, like you want them gone just because sometimes it's just like a lot of drama, which I think he's very, like, he doesn't like the feel of drama, which I thought it was so interesting that he's like, all right, under one condition, I'm going to keep you if you guys can get along. You know what I mean? Like, I can tell he's super uncomfortable with that.
Yeah.
But in the end, like, he still made the right decision to keep her and, send Justin home. And I think, there's so much to unpack in that last little bit, honestly. But I'm glad that he kept Say.
Yeah. Where did it start, Riley? Where should we start the saga of the Vula tribe on this episode?
Well, I mean, probably with Say and Mary running around the woods. Which is apparently the most fun both of them have had, which I kind of like too.
I did like that too.
They both had separate confessionals where they're like, I really respect the other one.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly maybe it was Brendan on Token Chains, but I knew that he wasn't with me and he knew I wasn't with him. And I think we did both look at each other in a moment and be like, we're having fun. But we both were like, our crosshairs are both pointed at each other. We're both aiming at each other, but we're like, this is kind of fun, actually. Was it?
Yeah.
So there are those moments, and not everybody's like that. Most of the people that I crossed or crossed me, I absolutely despise. But there's the ones that like you just have a mutual respect for because you're like, this is kind of silly and fun and ridiculous that we're out here doing this right now. So I love that. I love that we got the individual. Do you think like they had talked about having respect for each other before the fact that they both talked about it in confessionals? Ashleigh, you're shaking your head. You think that was just they both recognized game and both in individual solo confessionals said how much fun they were having with the other person?
I think they're both really similar when it comes to like gameplay as well. So I think that they probably just both had the same idea of just like, oh my gosh, this girl is hilarious and she is doing the thing that I would do if I was in her position. So I think, they definitely on two different corners were like, I like her. I respect her. I'm going to beat her, but I respect her.
Yeah.
Neleh, did you think they were going to come together after that? Like, I kind of was like, maybe. Could they? What would that have looked like?
You mean like from now on, are they going to come together?
No, like as they were saying how much they respected each other, like in the day, and they were like, "Oh, I kind of am having fun," and they were chasing each other, and they were kind of like, "I respect that. I respect that you're playing hard."
Yeah,
like I almost thought that they were going to be like, "Should we? I don't know. This is crazy. I just had an idea. Should we work together? I know. I don't. You say it. Like I kind of thought we were going to get something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I like that playful banner. I just don't know that like Say actually like would have that in her when it actually came down to it. Like I think it'd be like great to say on paper, but people that have those like big personalities, I just don't think they can like contain their emotions that well to like,
Say is not working with Mary moving forward.
You sure?
Say is not working with Mary moving forward.
No. She had to do what she had to do at the moment. But
yeah, there's no way she's coming back and be like, we're good friends now. No way.
Thanks, Frederick, for giving me the ultimatum. We're going to listen to you and we're going to, come together.
Yeah.
Well, so we all saw the preview for next time. They're going to do a tribe swap.
Yes.
We need it to be Say and Mary on the same tribe with not with Cedric. Cedric goes to another tribe.
Yeah.
And then they may, I think they might work together. I think they might be like, it's just the two of us. We're screwed if we're alone.
No, I hope they're going to be on the same tribe, and they're both just openly targeting each other and trying to get all of their new tribe mates to gang up on the other one. I think that's what's going to happen. They're just like, it's just Mary and Say, and then they both are like, well, we're on the bottom, us too, so let's just target each. And I think they're just going to like war it out. And they're both going to miss. Their shots are both going to miss again.
Somebody else goes home.
Somebody else goes home.
Yeah. I actually loved Mary's composure during all of that. Like after they lost the challenge, she's just swimming, just hanging out, just like the mind game was actually really great. I love seeing all that.
I did that on Winners at War. I knew I was the target. I took a nap. And I don't know how I even fell asleep. I pretended for a little while and fell asleep. And it was mentioned at tribal council, like, I don't feel comfortable. And yet we have somebody over here taking a nap. Like, what do they have that they can feel like? And it didn't work, but it almost worked.
Yeah.
And like in those moments, like that's all you can do is just like pretend that you are so comfortable that it makes people uncomfortable. So I did love that play.
So if you were Mary, would you have been out looking for the idol at that time, or would you have done that same play?
I probably would have done the same play as Mary, because looking for the idol just puts a bigger target on your back. And if they're going to follow you around, that's really going to squash out any chance you have. And if you've looked thoroughly, then you're like, well, I don't know where else to look. Like there's a lot of that stuff. So I think that I think I would have done what Mary had done and just like play it cool, pretend like you have something, make it them think you do. It only really worked on Say. Like Say was the only one that was like, she has something. She can't be this comfortable. I need her to scramble.
Yeah.
And Cedric and Justin were both like, she doesn't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
And Say's like, no, she does. She for sure does. How could she not?
Yeah.
So I thought it was perceptive of Say, but also, probably a little bit too, what's the word? Never mind. There's a word for it. Paranoid.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Mary played off of that too. Like,
for sure.
Cooler head is sort of like, if they're not looking, then that means they don't have anything. Like you're sort of like doing the double reverse.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know they're doing the double reverse.
Yeah.
And then she asked her, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
It was like, so do you have the immunity idol?
And she said no.
Like, no or
no.
yes. You know?
Maybe I do. Maybe I don't.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. So yeah, I did like that. So we get the scramble, we get the challenge, and we got to talk about the journey. Is there, if you're on the winning tribe that chooses people to go on the journey, who are you pinpointing? Like, why did they choose Justin? Why did they choose Camilla? Is there a reason? Is there a rhyme or a reason? Are you like trying to pinpoint the weak link in the tribe? Are you trying to pinpoint the underdog? Are you trying to pinpoint the leader? Like, who are you trying to send?
It didn't seem like they had a real reason. It looked like they just said pizza guy. And then the girl who was talking during the thing, which is the exact same reasons I would probably do it too. I'd be like, that guy and her.
I think I would try to look. I mean, if we could decide, I would try to see which person I would think I could beat at whatever it was that we were going to. Like I'd for sure would probably look at the weakest link to.
Okay. Yeah. So that you'd put like a strong person on your tribe against the weak people on theirs.
Yeah.
I would, if I'm in Bianca's shoes and I've been picked for the tribe that gets to do this selecting, I would then back off and be like, you guys all pick for the next whoever comes with me, because I don't want to be seen as like picking the people I think I can form an alliance with or click with or whatever. Yeah. It's like you can pick the people that you think I'm mismatched with, just to avoid any extra level of suspicion that comes with going on a journey.
Yeah. If I'm on the tribe that decides, I'm trying to pinpoint the person who will cause the most confusion in the tribe from being absent. So like I'm looking maybe at the leader, because then I'm like, okay, the leader will be absent. So who's going to lead? And also it's going to draw more, a bigger target on the leader at this point as well. I don't know. I think there's something to it, but like, who knows? Survivor is a game that is won by a different person each season with a mix of different characters every season. So nobody really knows. Everybody who says they know doesn't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, are you yourself raising your hand to go on the journey, Neleh?
I probably at this point wouldn't raise my hand to go on the journey. I would go if they wanted me to, and I'd make no like,
And then come back
it'd be
and stab
fine,
your
but
son
I'm
in the
probably
back.
not just like volunteering at this moment.
Yeah. Did you like the dice roll challenge?
I mean, I thought it was fine. I think it was like one of those where it's just, totally left up to fate, right? So I thought it was interesting that two of the players had 3 skulls with like virtually no fire, and then
then got it.
And then the next couple
One of them
dice
got it.
rolls like had a bunch of fire.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I thought it was fine.
I didn't like the game of chance.
No.
There's so much chance in Survivor. What tribe you start on, how the tribe swap's going to happen next week, how certain things play out. I think like if you're going to have an advantage, you have to earn it somehow, either by hunting for it and finding it, using clues to find it, or earning it by completing the challenge.
Yeah.
I just think there's already so much chance. Like now you're adding even more chance to a game of chance is like.
Yeah. I didn't like that they didn't have an option about whether to compete or not. And I thought like, something interesting would be if you keep rolling and you can walk away at any time too. Like I just always
that's
like
smart. Yeah, I like that. I
so
like
then
that
you can
more.
play the odds. You're like, whoa, I've rolled 3 skulls.
Yeah.
I'm gonna not continue and just walk away and keep my vote or whatever. Or it's like you lose one vote to start competing, but you might lose a second vote, or I don't know, something like that. But I just always think that the best advantages, the best twists to the game come with
forcing
some sort of difficult decision for the players to make.
Yeah.
In this case, they had no decision to make. It was just roll the dice and you get what you get. And you can't even decide whether you want to roll the dice or not.
Yeah, I agree. That would improve this game if they had some choice, but there was no choice. It was just like roll it and see what you get. Like I'm not even really stressed about playing this game. If I show up there and like this is what it is, it's like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
I just roll what I roll. It's not like I'm not pressed. I'm not stressed. I'm not scared. I'm not like trying to finish a thing before the timer runs out. I'm just like rolling a dice. So,
this was just flipping a coin with like extra steps. They could have just been a coin flip. Yeah.
Yeah. A long coin flip or a rock draw out of a pile of rocks.
Yeah.
So, Justin loses his vote though and decides to quit gambling. What are you doing, Neleh? If you're Justin, are you coming back and lying about losing your vote?
Oh my gosh. So, I mean, and it's crazy how the whole episode just played all of that out, because at first I was like, yeah, that was the right thing to do. Like come back, don't say anything to anybody, because a lot of times people come back and they just share everything and then people turn it against them. And then, it's to their disadvantage. But I actually like that he came back and just did what he did and kept it to himself. But ultimately, is that what cost him in the end? Like, but that was such a crazy tribal council. There would be no way for them to even like know that, would have come to that. But I actually kind of like that he was able to lie about it and then just keep it to himself.
Yeah. I think Cedric was loyal enough to Justin that had Justin told him the truth, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But I also think if Justin would have fought harder at tribal council there, I think he also would have been fine. I think if he would have been like, Cedric, I really want to be here. I have always been loyal to you. I just was concerned about this vote. Like I am with you, ride or die, moving forward.
Yeah, he said something as to why he didn't tell Frederick. Do you guys remember what that was? Wasn't something like he's not a very good game player or something like that? he threw a little bit of something on him, saying as to why, like, he didn't want to tell him, like, he didn't trust.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
could, like,
He said
do
that strategy. He said strategy isn't Cedric's strong suit.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
More or less. That's what I had in my notes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't know that I was like unsure about that. Like I was like, I thought Cedric was fine at strategy, based on what we've seen, but I don't know what's going on. You know,
It seems
there's
like he
more
gets
on the
a
island.
little stressed as the scramble
Could be. Yeah.
winds up. But
Mhm.
what about Bianca coming back and telling Thomas the truth? Is that hilarious? I mean, because Thomas lied about his advantage and continues to lie about it, but Bianca came back. But Thomas also was like, that was so believable. Has Thomas now clocked Bianca as a great liar and can't trust her?
I think a little bit, yeah. Yeah, because he made the comment of like, oh, wow, you did that really well, or something, like, noted. I don't remember exactly the words, but I was like, oh, yeah, he's like, even the rope making wasn't the truth. And she's like, nope. So he's like, he's got his eye on her now for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. That's how I felt too. I was like, that was bad in two ways. That
Mhm.
she showed that she can lie, and she also told him. And it's hilarious that he did not tell her. So
Lying about the whole challenge may get her into big trouble next episode when they swap, because someone might just be like, just to confirm, what was the thing you did on the journey? And they'll be like, oh, we rolled dice.
yeah, but they didn't see everybody else's. She could have been like, yours was dice, mine wasn't dice.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, then
And I
even,
guess
even Justin said something about,
His was crazy. His lie was crazy.
well, yeah,
Yeah, that
I'm
made
like,
no
you
sense.
just took it to the next level. Like, now you're going to go, if you stay, you're going to go to the next tribal council, and your tribe is literally waiting for like comfort, food, or whatever it was that we said. I'm
Yeah.
like, how are you going to get past that one? You know?
The thing I did like about that is that he was just like, what can I tell them that makes them keep me for the next day? Like, you only get this if I'm here the next day, or something like that. Like, that's, I think, what he was going for. But
it was just the type of thing that it's like Survivor never does this. Like, why would they do this whole journey that then doesn't pay off in the same episode? That's never something they do. It's like, I would have clocked that as a lie immediately.
well, all you would have had to do is be like, Justin, repeat that back to me. What were all the things again? And he'd be like, I can't repeat the lie twice. I don't remember. Like, it
just
was
wait
so
like an
much
hour,
to
like,
it.
to confirm what color were the question marks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Tyson, I do like what you said. Like, he could have actually said, hey, if I'm around the next one, this is what we're going to get, right? But then he'd be hosed, because he'd get there and there wouldn't be anything, obviously. But like, maybe that could
he
have
should
saved
come
him up
back and
a
be
little
like,
bit more.
I won us all an extra shot in the dark, but we don't get it till after tribal council.
Like, sure.
Riley, you're not believing that?
No, I'm not believing it. I don't think
now they're
Survivor
going to
would
do it.
that.
They're going to put you on the show. They're going to do it. And then they're going to make you look like an idiot.
But anyone who's seen this podcast would know that if I come and say that, it must be true, because I would never say this stupid lie.
Okay. Oh, man. 3D chess over here.
Here we go.
Yeah. 3D chess. And Camilla just tells the whole tribe and everybody celebrates. Is that real celebration? Neleh, are you sitting there and you're like, yay, everybody, Mitch got a thing, and now Camilla got a thing, and I don't have a thing. That's fine. We're all a team.
Yeah. I think it was the right thing probably that she told him, only because that's kind of like their tribe dynamic. A little bit like with our season, we kind of had the whole love tribe thing going on too. And so I think that's just kind of part of just like, I don't know, being a savvy player when it comes to like who you're with, right? And like
knowing your audience.
Yeah, knowing your audience.
But
so
how would they know that if she lied?
What was that?
How would they know if she lied, though? She could just have lied and then played really sad, and then maybe Mitch gives her his advantage because he feels so bad for her.
I don't know. I just think that with what they have, like how their tribe dynamic is working right now, I think it was probably good that she just said the truth.
Yeah. Would they be cheering like that had they gone to tribal council a couple times?
I don't think so. I think you'd see a lot more separation. There would not be so much kumbaya on that tribe for sure.
Yeah, I agree. We go back to Vula, and it's, I mean, well, let's just go to tribal council now. So we go to tribal council, and this is like absurd. It kept going. Like I was like, oh, like I checked the clock because I was like, this has to be a reward challenge. There's still so much time left. But then it was the immunity challenge. And then we go into tribal council here. And I think Cedric made the wrong move in either voting Say so many times before switching to Justin, or ride or die with Justin and keep voting and choose Say to go. That's where Cedric misstepped, is he should have stuck to his guns. Even voting Say the first time and then switching to Justin would have been fine. But voting Say, how many times did he vote for her? 2 or 3?
Twice.
Twice. So we get, like, Jeff just stops tribal council to vote. Did you like this move, Neleh? Were we going to get more from the tribe before the vote?
I kind of felt like it was time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mary plays the shot in the dark, and it hits. So, yeah, Mary was going to go home. It was going to be Mary. She plays her shot in the dark. It hits. Are we pumped? Are you like cheering, Neleh?
I was so happy.
Like, at what point did you text me and say, I can't wait to talk about this episode? Was
like
it
as soon as it got over, like as soon as, the final vote was done, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so freaking good. Like I loved it all. It was so, so good.
Yeah. I mean, we get Mary hits the shot in the dark. Did you like the shot in the dark hitting? Were you cheering there? Were you like,
I was
boom?
Actually so happy. Yeah. Like being on a tribe with Say, she would drive me absolutely crazy. But like as a player, like I'm really loving her right now, So I'm glad that we're gonna see some more chaos out of her for a while.
Will Say ever be able to trust a man?
To trust who?
A man. Like she's raised by her mother, and her grandmother is present, and these men just keep lying to her like nonstop. It's like every single step of the way, it's another lie from one of her closest allies, and she keeps catching them. Yeah. Like, what kind of damage is this doing?
That's such a funny question.
Ashleigh, what do you think?
No.
It's horrible,
She'll
right?
Never trust a man.
Cedric and Justin are not our male representatives over here, Say.
She needs to play with a Joe. Maybe she
Yes, you need Joe. Do you think that her and Joe can come together and she'll start to, like, it just boggles my mind that, like, it's just like every single turn, she's like, but Cedric lied and Justin lied and they're my closest allies. And man, this
is why she'll come together with Mary next episode.
Ashleigh, you didn't think that? You didn't think that as this was all happening?
I didn't even put that part together.
Yeah.
I was hoping that she'd like realize, you're playing a game, and she seems to realize it with Mary. Like they
For sure.
seem to be so hopefully she's not taking any of this too personal, but I do hope that she gets to work with someone who's actually like loyal to her.
Yeah.
And so she can experience that a little bit so that she can heal that part of her heart.
Yeah. I just was like, oh my gosh. And they're like they are supposed to be on her side. So the fact that she's still catching them in lies is like so funny. It's so funny. So Mary plays shot in the dark, and nobody still realizes that Justin did not vote.
Mm-hmm.
That was odd. It felt like it should have been very obvious that the guy who went on the journey, is probably the one not voting.
Nobody even said anything.
Because there were 2 votes Mary.
There were 2 votes Mary.
Show the other one, right?
But I thought they said there was.
He said there's no votes left.
There's no votes left.
That's it.
Yeah, he said 1 vote left.
That's true.
He said 1 vote Mary, 1 vote left. And then it was Mary.
Okay.
And then he was like, hey, we got to go to a revote. And at that moment, I thought Say was going to be like, hold up. Did you vote? Did you vote? Where's the, like, but there was none of that.
Yeah, I didn't get any sense of like that they thought anything
of any confusion.
Yeah.
which was to me crazy.
Yeah.
And they didn't catch it even on the revote when they're like, okay, one vote Say, one vote Justin.
Maybe they did, and it was just edited.
No, there's
down because
You
it's so
think so?
confusing.
They would have showed.
No,
They would have showed Say stopping everything and being like,
I just think that these players can probably count to 3 and know that 2 is not 3. Like they're, something's not adding up here. Come on.
yeah,
They're probably just happy it's not them, so they're like not even thinking about it.
Yeah, I think that in those moments they're so tense, and you're just like praying that there's somebody up there that loves Survivor. You're praying that God loves Survivor and also loves you the most out of everybody there in that moment, like those two things. And so I think that it skirted them. I don't think that they realized that until Jeff was like, Justin doesn't have a vote, so
Well, that was a moment because Say you cannot hide it. I mean, she's got the eye roll, she's got all the things. Like, we would have seen that earlier had she'd known that.
I agree. And I thought it was so crazy. My hope in that moment was that Justin got through just so he could be like, guys, I never had a vote the whole time. Did you ever notice that there was only 2 votes? Like, it would have been so good. And I mean, Cedric is kind of, I mean, he does kind of like, a little bit. But what sort of, like, why did Cedric ultimately choose Say?
I personally feel like Cedric is like playing to loyalties, or he was, right? Like he felt closer to Justin. And so I felt like he wanted that to continue. And like, even when he was up voting, the time that he voted for Say again, like I could see that hesitation, right? Because they showed him like pausing.
Yeah.
And then ultimately he's still like, because I can kind of feel that like, ooh, I'm tugging here. Like, this is what I should do. But ooh, my loyalty's over here. Which, when you play the game, like it's a lot different, to be out there. Like you go out there thinking like, I'm just going to play this, whatever kind of game. And then you create these friendships and relationships. So it is super hard to like, cut people off like that, especially when you haven't really had a conversation about what that looks like. But so I could see that pull. And then, when he went back and sat down, like, that's why I was like so freaking proud of him, in the end when he ended up, getting rid of Justin. And also just, I was so disappointed in Justin, just literally like, he just handed it to Say. He's just like, okay, you can come have pizza at my shop. I'd be like, no, you're never eating pizza at my place.
Yeah,
like,
you can have pizza, but guess what? There's going to be something in it and you're not going to know what it is.
Right? Yeah.
That was so bizarre to me. It was like Say fought for her place in the game. She was like, look, this guy lied to you about not having a vote, whereas I've been completely honest. And then Justin's just like, had nothing. He was like, do what's best for you, dude.
Oh,
yeah.
Like,
it's like the final 6 of Winners at War, where everybody's like, I'll just go now.
Yeah. Why go out to Fiji, get cast on Survivor and do all this just to fall on the sword, man? Wouldn't be me.
I mean, you're in a state of shock at that point. Like you are in a full state of shock and you're just like, what is the best thing right now? What can I do? And so sometimes like that's the reaction, is like a deer in headlights, is just like, oh shit. Like he probably felt like he was going to be okay because there were no votes for him the first round. And then he was just like, I'll just hold my breath and duck. And maybe everybody will not realize I don't have a vote. And then when he ended up getting in the mix, he was like, oh, now what do I do? But I think had he fought harder, because literally all he had to do was be like, Cedric, who gets along with Mary already? Me.
Yeah.
No problem. I don't even have to promise it to you because you already know it's true. Like that's he had so many opportunities. But I also would have been heartbroken if Say left, because she fought so hard. And I do love her honesty and her read, and like being like, I'm not relying on anybody to tell me information anymore, because last time I did that, I played an idol that is wasted. So I am now done. I have to figure out everything for myself, which is the way you should play Survivor if you can. Like there are moments where you just have to trust a person, but as much as you can, you should try to solve it for yourself and make sure that all the information is accurate. Where do Mary and Say go from here, Neleh? Are they going to be best pals? Are they right back to each other's throats? What's the opening scene next week?
I mean, I can just kind of see this banter happening for, as long as they're together. Like, I think they both get back to the beach and they're just like, what's up? Like fist bumping each other, just like, but there's still that tension, right? Like they're not going to become like, tight or anything, but I think they're going to have like respect that they both got through that.
I think they target Cedric. I think that before they realize it's a swap, they're going to get back and be like, Cedric's got to go. He wrote your name down and my name down in that same tribal council.
This is also why I feel like he should have kept Justin, because he would have been like, look, man, I saved you.
Yeah.
Whereas Say is going to be like, this guy wrote my name down twice. Like he's been lying.
He would have gotten rid of me.
I flushed my idol and I maybe wouldn't have if he had tipped me off. Like, I don't think she's going to work with Cedric going forward, really.
Yeah.
Do you think Say is going to be, you don't think that Say is going to stay loyal to, is it Cedric or Frederick?
Cedric.
Yeah. You don't think that she'll be loyal to him? Like, let's say that it came down to like just the three of them.
I think she's going to swap onto a new tribe and be so happy that she doesn't have to work with Cedric or Mary anymore.
But what if all three of them are on the side of the tribe?
Yeah.
Well, that'd be kind of great.
I could see Say because she is like honest and like loyal to an extent. I could see her, staying with Cedric for a while, just because she's like so grateful that he saved her. I could see her also being that type of player.
So how many people are left in the game? 15? Yeah. There's going to be 3 tribes of 5 then. Yeah. So I want it to be those 3 still on the same tribe with 2 new players. So they're in the majority, but they can't come together. And it's going to be one of them. They're still just going to, like the 2 are going to get there and be like, oh, we got to find the cracks. And then they're like, oh, the cracks just told themselves to us. So that's easy. We're safe. Like that's my hope. It's just so funny when
I want it to be Say and Mary plus like Eva and Star plus one person that gets thrown in the middle. It's like Mitch.
You want Mitch in the middle as the narrator of it all, just being like, this sucks.
What do I do?
Yeah. Okay. I can get behind that. Neleh, build your optimal tribe for entertainment. Out of the 15 people left, you get 5 choices.
Oh, 5 choices. Okay, I got to look at my list here because I'm going to forget all their names. But okay, optimal entertainment. I got to go with Mary.
Yep.
Say, Thomas. Maybe.
Thomas would have fun with the Say and Mary. He would definitely have conversations with each of them and be like,
he would just spread rumors
left
and right.
Yeah.
He'd be entertaining for sure. And then, gosh.
Throw 2 more on that disaster tribe going into the swamp.
Okay. I'm going to throw Eva in there because it'd be really interesting to see her navigate those 2 massive personalities.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to throw in probably Cedric again.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Because now Eva's going to have to navigate without Joe there a little bit. And I like that. I hope that we get to see more of Mary versus Say. Anything else from the episode before we move to Riley's reads?
Okay, yes. One thing I was going to...
Yes.
Okay, so let's say that Justin didn't lose his vote.
Okay.
And he actually got an extra vote. How would that have played out in Final Tribal?
I think he would have told, well, he doesn't have to use his extra vote.
Okay.
Right? I don't think he has to use it that time. He can use it whenever. But I think he would tell Cedric, probably Say as well,
that he has the extra vote.
And then Say would have been like, you need to use it tonight I don't know.
Like, let's say he didn't tell anybody.
Yeah. If he didn't tell anybody, he wouldn't need to play his extra vote.
Yeah, I don't know
can
that
you
he
play
it? I
don't think you can play it on the revote. You have to play it.
I think you have to play it in the initial one.
So if you have it in the initial one, then when you revote, you get to vote twice again.
Yeah.
So I don't think he would have played it. I think it would have.
I think that Say just goes home.
I think Say goes home too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the only outcome at that point.
I was confused as to why Cedric even got the chance to choose between the two. I'm wondering if maybe some of our listeners can
Well,
tweet at
Jeff
us and
said
clear it up a little.
because normally the people voted for are immune, but because something or other.
This is exactly why I was confused, because what I thought was going to happen was Mary's immune because she hit her shot in the dark.
Yeah.
And then it's a deadlock between Justin and Say.
So they're immune.
And basically then it goes on to, okay, so you have this tribe discussion and it has to be unanimous. And Say is always going to say, well, obviously Justin should go.
Yeah.
And it was like, if Cedric couldn't get on board with that, then it draws rocks, but he would be the only one drawing rocks. So he would go home. So I just felt like, I thought it was going to be a default, like Justin has to go because Cedric's not going to draw one out of one rocks and just instantly go home. But then so I don't know how it kicked back to actually Cedric gets to decide between Say and Justin. I thought Say was basically safe once it went to a revote, because I was like playing it through in my mind that like, oh, once it goes to this tribe discussion and this revote thing, or in this potential rock draw, it would only be Cedric drawing. So he's going to have to get on board to vote Justin. And then that just weirdly didn't happen. So I don't know. Somebody who knows the rule book better than me, let us know why it played out that way.
Yeah, I think it has to do with how many people were there and stuff. I don't know exactly either, but
and Justin
Neleh.
was in the vote too, I think. Into that.
Yeah, I think
ours was the first season that we ever had a rock draw, and we had no idea what was even happening. So we were down to the final 4 people. It was Vesepi and myself. We each had, both of our names were at a tie. I remember Jeff just coming out and being like, all right, you guys have 2 minutes to decide, like, between all of you who's going home. And I just remember at the time thinking, like, this is the stupidest thing. Like, why would you ever just like volunteer yourself at this point? You know what I mean? So with us, it ended up just going to the rock draw, but it's been kind of cool to see how that rock draw's sort of evolved over time.
Yeah, I also did a rock draw.
Yeah, you did.
And I chose to draw rocks. Mathematically, it made sense. But I could have also there were...
Was it 6? Or 6 you drew rocks?
At right? 6, yeah, there were 6. So at 6, there were 6, and only 3 of us had to draw rocks because Jervis had immunity, Monica had been voted for, and Hayden had been voted for.
So you had a 1 in 3 chance of going home.
1 in 3 chance of 1 in 3 chance of going
out.
to Redemption Island.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right.
So then I could win my way back in.
Mm-hmm.
And also, so I could have sent Monica home, who was my ally, or draw rocks. So
I mean, with Redemption Island in play, and you feeling pretty good about your challenge abilities.
Yeah.
It made
worked out well for you.
Worked out okay. So no rock draw this time. Who's gonna be sitting pretty in this tribe swap? Is everything just gonna get reshuffled and everybody's gonna have to rebuild from ground zero?
I think so. I think everybody's just gonna get swapped up.
Yeah, I think if you're in a good position in your tribe, this sucks. Like, these tribe swaps suck. But if you are like on the bottom or scrambling or feel on the outs, like, it's a good refresh. Like, it's
it's great for basically all of Vula.
Yeah. I mean, I was on a Mormon mission, Neleh,
mm-hmm.
and after like a handful of months, you would just burn bridges with some locals who were just like either against you or like whatever, you had disagreements, and then you get transferred and you never have to see them again ever in your life. And you're like, thank God, yes, I'm out. And then you're like, good, hard refresh. Now I can like really get going again. And then a few months in, you'd have those same things pop up, and then you'd get transferred out and be like, have a nice life, everybody. Sorry, we didn't get along. You'll never see me again. Next city. So that's what I...
You well, Tyson. It prepared you well.
It did prepare me well. So I think that's the, like, a tribe swap is really like, it feels like that to me, where it's just like, okay, I did a little damage. I hopefully learned from my mistakes in that last tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're getting back to square one, and I at least have a certain amount of time before I probably start to rub people the wrong way or vice versa. And so, yeah, I think it's a breath of fresh air for Mary, Say, and Cedric, as long as they're not all on the same tribe.
I agree. That happened in Marquesas. So we were on like the Road to tribe. We won all the challenges. And then eventually, we had to swap because the other people kept losing. But I remember at the time getting swapped, and I was with three, people. Pascal, who obviously I was close to, but Kathy was kind of the say of our tribe. Like had we had like one early vote off, she would have been gone. But because we kept winning, she came with us. So at that point, like we just learned to work with her. And then look, she went on to like make final 3. So, just got to be flexible. Got to adjust.
Before we get to Riley's reads, Neleh.
Yeah.
One old school player you can't say yourself that you would like to see on season 50. That you're just like, oh, I really hope this person, I would love to see this person again. Haven't seen him for a while. Let's see him again. Who are you choosing?
I'm going to go from my season. I don't feel like our season has had very much representation. I would say...
Really? Didn't you have a guy on there that's played 5 times?
Well, I mean, that is true.
And he's been on 15 other shows.
Right. And he didn't even make the jury in our season. I'm like, what is even happening right now? Like,
do you ever look at Rob and be like, that could have been me if I would have just gone home pre-jury?
Right. Yes, I do actually. No, yeah, I think Rob's a great player. I didn't really even get to know him that much. I just remember he had like the most horrible beer breath. So out on Survivor, I never, people are always like, are people stinky? I'm like, I don't really smell anybody, right? Because you're not eating, what you eat here. So I don't remember people's bad breaths. Like nobody was farting in the tent, anything like that. But I remember when Rob came over to our tribe to bring us over, when we were merging together, he and Kathy had that night out eating pizza and drinking beer. And I just remember thinking, I was paddling in the ocean next to him. I'm like, that is the worst breath I've ever smelled. Like the only time I ever remember smelling stinkiness was Rob's beer breath on the raft.
Yeah. So, no toothbrushes out there.
Yeah. Yeah. For
sure. So
sure.
that's funny.
But he's not your pick to return from your season, right?
No. Yeah. Sorry. I got to get back on. So, all right. I think it would be really fun. John Carroll is obviously one of my really good friends. He was a really fun, wild character out there. And he's a super fan of the show. I think he'd be really fun to see back. From our season, I also think that Sean would be really fun to come back and play with. We were kind of at odds with each other a little bit out there, but he made for good TV too. So I'd like to see him get a shot out there.
Do you think that both of them could keep up with the modern game?
I would say, I'd say John, definitely. Sean, I think, would maybe struggle. I'm not sure how much he watches of the show still. But John for sure.
Okay. Yeah. Cause I think that's what we need is old schoolers who can stab their own sons in the back if they have to get one step further.
Yeah. I think if people have been watching the seasons ever since, I mean, if they go back out there and they don't play like that will be disappointed, because I think that there's a lot of players like myself and others who would, go out there and play a hard game if they had a second chance.
Well, even on Winners at War, like Danny Boatwright, it was pretty there's just some people that I don't think they have that ability, and it's not a good or bad thing in life. It's just like some people can be sociopathic enough to play Survivor and some people just can't.
Yeah.
And so and sometimes you don't know until you get out there, but I think that So, and I agree though, it will be disappointing if there's old schoolers out there who can't flip the sociopath switch to on. And
I don't want people to just come back because they're old school. They need to come back and be willing to play, a really solid cutthroat game for the million, because you're not going to win if you don't play like that, period. The old school way of thinking and playing is so gone now. You have to go out there and deserve it and earn your spot for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Riley's reads. Let's get to it.
What's your favorite moment of the episode, Tyson?
My favorite moment of the episode is Mary running around and Say chasing her, and both of them kind of having fun playing cat and mouse.
Neleh, what about you?
Ooh, I'm going to say my favorite moment was Frederick getting rid of Justin.
Okay. I like that too.
That that just like made my heart just like explode. Like I was so happy. So yeah.
Okay. Riley?
Well, Ashleigh, what do you think?
Ashleigh?
I did like Mary and Say's entire thing this episode. It reminded me of like playground playing. Just lots of, oh, did I do it? I don't know if I did it. And then they're running around and like chasing each other. It was very fun. And I don't know if we hear a lot of people say how much fun they're having on Survivor. So I just felt like it was really nice.
Yeah.
Riley? I mean, it was probably Say and Mary chasing each other around, but
I thought you were going to say David living in a trailer because you hate the guy that has it all.
No, but so this is, I wanted to say something about
right,
this,
Ashleigh?
though.
That's crazy that Riley would think that. Yeah.
No, but when he described his girlfriend as she's going to leave me if I don't win $1 million, and then followed it up with, my friends think I shouldn't date her if she only cares about money. I was like, holy shit. Like, what? I hope the girlfriend doesn't watch this
together.
Like, damn.
They're watching this together. Yeah, that was brutal. That is brutal. But also, like,
obviously, it's probably much more to her than that. And we just saw this small snippet, but I was like, oh no, this is really bad.
Yeah. If we have a live reunion, Jeff's definitely asking about that.
But we need to follow up.
Neleh.
Yeah.
If you're getting married or you're starting a family with somebody, you want them to have their shit together.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be sleeping in a trailer.
It's tough.
In your future father-in-law's front yard.
Well, and I love when they're like, is it even like a big
is
yard?
It a lot of,
no, it's just like an actual house. So it's not like there's property and you have like a trailer on it.
It's in the driveway.
Yeah, like I like literally parked up like on the curb, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just, it makes me sad because he's so much bigger than that. Like, I just kind of see this like, I don't know how to describe it, but it makes my heart hurt for him because I just kind of feel like, David, you're bigger than this. Like, you have all this going for you. Why are you settling for this? And the part about like, if his girlfriend's going to be with him, if he's going to be able to marry her or be with her, I'm just like, it just felt so like junior high. Like, you're 38 years old. Like, that's not what this is about at this age in life. I don't know. But yeah, I like him. I like that I got to see the vulnerable side of him and that little bit of insecurity, but I just want to kick him and be like, get out of the trailer.
Yeah. I need to know more also about Kyle's living situation, that his response to hearing about this was, dude, that's awesome.
I think
he's like, not really.
Like, where is Kyle living? He's living in like a sewer.
Yeah.
I think that he thought that David was living there by choice. So to be like allies with him, he was like, that's cool. And he's like, is it?
Like
no,
a
it's
free
not.
spirit type of thing.
Yeah. Like, Rad,
David's
I wish
like,
I could do that. I wish I could be that untethered. He's like, no, you don't. You do not.
Well, and four kids is a lot. Like, that's a lot of babies to start thinking about,
Yeah. Yeah. Start with just one. Start with the first one. See how you feel and go from there. Yeah. Go from there. Don't just plan on 4 without ever having experienced one.
Yeah.
Riley, what else we got?
Let's do winner picks.
Ooh.
I mean, who did one of us pick Justin?
Yeah.
Who?
It was me.
Oh, no.
But
he didn't play like me like he said he was going to.
He didn't.
Because I would have won.
He didn't play at all, basically. God.
I think he was a slow burn. I think he was ramping up to something, but he never got there, unfortunately. I stand by my pick of Cedric. He's on some pretty shaky ground, and I don't know if he has the strategic chops to pull this thing off now, but I said I was ride or die with Cedric, always arguing a case for him. He gets swapped on a tribe that is ideal for him, and he can slink into the shadows a little bit and then emerge a little bit later again. That's my hope for my day one winner pick. Neleh, who do you have? Who's going all the distance here?
Honestly, I think Joe's going to make it pretty far. Like, I think...
Do you think he can win, though? Is he going to get... Are they going to let him get to the end?
I could see Joe winning. I could see him getting far just based off of, like, personality, as long as, people like Thomas and those guys don't gun for him, like, super quick. But I think with the swap of the tribe and with the relationships he has with people, I think we're going to... I think he could probably make, like, final 5. And if he can turn like we were talking about earlier and just like start, showing some serious gameplay and like being willing to backstab and bury people. I think like Tyson said, I think that he'd have a good shot at winning. So I think I'm going to go with Joe.
Okay. Ashleigh, who you changing to?
Well, since I have to do a change, I guess I'm going to say Mary. I think if she brings the same energy that she brought for Say and keeps adapting to the different personality styles that she's going to get on her new tribe, I think that she might have a chance on continuing further and further and further. But she has to continue to adapt and see how people react to things. Like just knowing that Say is going to freak out if she relaxes, and nobody else did.
Yeah.
This was all focused on Say. I think if she just keeps doing that strategy, I think she'd be able to make it really far.
Okay. Riley?
I'm sticking with Kyle, who I've had since the preseason. He's actually in a good position now, as they showed. He's in the middle of his tribe.
Yeah.
And he has an idol, but also the edit of the show drawing attention to what a great position he is in makes me feel like he's actually maybe
in
not
less of a good position. People will recognize he's in the middle, and that's a problem if they see you in the middle.
Oh, and he was a little like, plus I have an idol, so everything's great. And I'm like, uh-oh, this is not good. Once you start getting those comments put into the show, it usually doesn't mean you go on to cakewalk to the end and win. But he's still my pick right now, and he is in a great position. I do think he's a good player.
Yeah. Why didn't David offer to switch financials with Kyle when Kyle said how awesome living in a trailer? He's like, you can have it. Just give me all of your stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
What else we got, Riley?
Let's do who's going home next week, which is kind of a real stab in the dark when we don't even know what the tribes will look like.
We just have to figure out who is going to grate on people the most on the new tribe. I mean, this is so hard. There's like no rhyme or reason to this. This is literally a roll of the dice and getting a flame or a skull.
Yep.
I think if Say doesn't get on the right tribe, I think she could be a goner.
Yeah.
Just her emotional instability sometimes. Like, I loved her this season. I mean, this last episode, like, I think she's, a great game player. But just that wild card, I mean, if she's on the wrong tribe, I think she's gone.
I actually, because we talked to Coach last week and he said he didn't think she'd be able to pump the brakes. I feel like she's going to be able to pump the brakes here, actually. If she at all is really going to try to mend fences with Mary and do what Cedric asked her to do, then I think that is the course correction for her. But if she can't do that course correction, yeah, she's going to have some trouble. Man, I will go with. I'm gonna go with David. I think we got his story. This is part edit read. We got to see his story. It was very touching. It's going to be heartbreaking when he gets voted out. And I think he's going to get on a tribe that isn't all physically stacked. And they're going to say merge is coming soon. We want to get rid of the strong guys right now before the merge hits and somebody goes on an immunity run. And I think that's what's going to happen. Ashleigh, what dice are you rolling?
I'm going to say Star, because Star has yet to crack the code for the idol. And so that means that she has no vote. And she didn't seem to do a good job strategizing with her entire tribe. Like none of them really seem to have a connection to her. And so I wonder if she's going to be able to she just started talking to them and now the tribes are splitting up. So she doesn't have a vote and now she's starting from scratch all over again. So I'm like, okay.
Well, that's a good point because she may not have the clues she needs to crack the code because each beach is different. Is she going to miss out on that or does she have that cataloged in her head or does she have it cataloged somewhere? She did build some inroads with Bianca and Thomas this episode. So that was good because now they are kind of gunning for Eva a little bit. But yeah, I am interested to see where her advantage goes if she or her idol, if she leaves that beach. If she leaves that beach, will she just not have or will she just not have a vote, or will it reset, or will it reset to the clues that are on her new beach if she goes somewhere else?
That's good question.
Riley.
I was going to say Star too. I think that some of the people from these tribes that haven't gone to tribal council, but especially the Lagi tribe, are itching to actually get somebody out. So when they swap on a new tribe, instead of targeting somebody from one of the other tribes, they may actually target one of their own because they're just so ready to make a move. And we know that so many people on Lagi just aren't aligned with Star. So I think she's vulnerable.
Yeah. If she can recognize that she is and jumps ship and goes to the other side, she'll be fine. But
it's just tough when you have nothing to offer. She's like, hey, I don't have a vote.
Yeah. Yeah. And everybody knows it.
Yeah.
So, okay. Anything else?
That's
Riley?
all for me. No, that's all.
Neleh, any closing words?
I mean, I think we pretty much covered it.
Yeah, I think so. Where can people find you, Neleh, if they want to follow in your daily exploits? Are you on Instagram?
Okay. So we have a food truck, which is actually named after Survivor Marquesas. So it's Marquesas Corn Dogs, which is so funny. And then I also run a cosmetic business. So anyways, I'm on lipstickbyneleh.com on Instagram, Lipstick by Neleh on Instagram, and then Facebook page just under my name, or yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. And were there corn dogs in Marquesas?
No. It's so crazy. My husband was in medical sales for a long time, and we're just like, let's just open up something on the side, just, for extra income, just for fun. And so we opened up this hand dipped corn dog food truck.
Yeah.
And so we just started doing that, and it just kind of exploded and went crazy. So that's really what we've been kind of doing full time, mostly in the summer. And then we take off and spend some time in Costa Rica every year, a couple of months. We'd take the kids out of school and just travel. So it's just fun working for ourselves. But yeah, we were trying to come up with a name for our food truck and thought it'd be fun to do something Survivor related without Survivor. So it's Marquesas Corn Dogs. And we're like, what is that? But yeah.
And does that remind you more about Survivor every time that you have a discussion about
the company? Name, I'm like, ooh, what would I be doing? Corn dogs if I had $1 million? I don't think I would be.
Well, it sounds like you're doing okay if you're spending a few months a year in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody feels bad for you. Maybe David, but everybody else is.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely an entrepreneur, and I love it. It's cool, and it's just fun to spend that time with our family. So David, I'm rooting for you. I hope you get those babies, and I hope you make some money and don't give it off too quick. But yeah, it's worth it.
That'll do it here at The Pod Has Spoken. Neleh, thank you so much for your time and energy. Ashleigh, thank you for always being here no matter what, making us sound and look amazing, chopping it all up, piecing it together. And Riley, thanks for being here when you can. I appreciate that. Of course. There's time, you'll be here. Awesome of you to do. Until next week, everybody. See ya.
Bye.